being an immigration point perceived by the community. So we need to carry on from here, where you open up and the Consul General also open up. Otherwise, your opportunity to meet the entrepreneurs and the skilled workers then gets lost. We, from the website, whatever is available has been shown, and you have interacted personally, because since I came to know from your CV that you are a public administration man also. The aim is to open a Manitoba arena or an office which directly interacts with the people of Punjab, as you are having so many people who are getting immigration to Manitoba from Punjab. My suggestions are two. Any entrepreneur from Ludhiana who wishes to see the quality of product being made and what he can make at a lower cost here or have a facility there. These are two things which are going to happen. It's either export or manufacturing there. That should be arranged by your, with the interaction with the consultant. They should be able to have a visit, which should be, it should be time bound in terms you want to see them manufacture, say 10-15 days program. Secondly, you must have a job fair here. Like you're spending 10 days in India, send your subordinates who know credentials, who know the kind of skill they are looking for, and the work experience accreditations can be checked. What is happening? Manitoba is the most friendly PNP program. I was interacting about from 2002 to 2006. But only gap, I was not a PR, I'm not a citizen of Canada, so I cannot write my credentials as a CSI representative. You need to work on that. Find honest, integrity, full of integrity people in Punjab. Push them the same test which CSI has for Canadian representatives and accredite few of them, so that they are in India without interest of dollars being transmitted. I hope I make myself clear on the underline of the dollars. So they should be giving you honest opinions, because once you, immigration means a block. You know, people have to go through agent to get a form filled. This is a normal tradition, because a 10th grader plus 2 ITI guy is not going to be proficient to fill those forms. This is a phobia. But we need to have some guidance. It should be interaction between the Consul General, Manitoba, and the community here. So I used to send videos of the persons working. What do you want to know? He's not going to write a Shakespeare essay. He's just want to know his name, his education, and the kind of job duties as per NOC of Canada. What kind of job duties he does here. Like a carpenter, he has to read the design, he has to cut pieces, he has to join them or repair the wood. 4 or 5 duties. These kind of credentials can be visually checked by your representative here, and you don't land up with duds as skilled workers who start over all again in Manitoba. There are a lot of skilled workers, small language program as you mentioned in your address. These are my points.
Okay. Thank you for the comments. First of all, on the skilled workers side, you're right. We want to have advanced credential recognition so people don't have to start over again if they come to our country. That's a waste of their talents, and it doesn't allow us to use their skills to the advantage of our economy and to their advantage as well in terms of the kind of living they can make. We do have several initiatives that can facilitate people's credentials getting recognized. Some of them are called Advanced Skills Recognition Programs, PLAR, it's a fancy term. We have a Fairness Commissioner. If anybody has a set of professional credentials and they're not being fairly treated, that Fairness Commissioner can make a ruling and intervene with the profession to tell them they have to change the way they're considering those credentials. So we have put in place very specific mechanisms to ensure that people's credentials are properly evaluated in a fair way so that they can use them to their maximum advantage for themselves and their families, and of course for our economy as well. Secondly, you heard our Assistant Deputy Minister Ben Rempel talk about temporary foreign workers. In some parts of the world, temporary foreign workers are brought in, they're used up, and then they're sent home. In Manitoba, a temporary foreign worker after a couple of years, has the right to apply to be a citizen of the country and to stay in the province. So we have some of the best protections for temporary foreign workers around. We see every temporary foreign worker as a potential, not necessarily, but a potential future citizen. We don't look at them as somebody we want to take advantage of in the short term. We look at them as a potential citizen, and many have come as temporary foreign workers and have stayed on in our communities and moved into other jobs and occupations and have become established members of our communities. They may wish to return home, in which case there's no negative about wanting to return home. But we treat people properly. We have a high regard for human rights. We have our own human rights legislation and our human rights code, and we look at ways to strengthen that all the time. So there is no discrimination in labor markets or in services or in the opportunities to become a Canadian citizen. So I thank you for your questions. I thank you for the comment that you think our nominee program is one of the more friendlier programs. And one of the things we can do, not only through the Consul General here, who happens to be a Manitoban as well, Scott, and knows Manitoba very well, one of the things we can do is we can use the internet as a way of preparing people for their opportunities to come to Manitoba. And we can also use our network of Manitobans who come here regularly to be available to talk to people that want to come to Manitoba and share their experiences with them. We have these strengths now that we can take advantage of for the future. Thank you.
Mr. Vivek, good afternoon. My name is Arvind Sharma. I am from construction background. As you were talking about the lead buildings and you were talking about the geothermal and carbon fibers, already we are using some sort of XPS board which we are importing from USA, and they have started manufacturing in India. How would you like to open here in India? Would you like to start with some manufacturing base over here, or would you like to have some tie-up for export or import sort of thing? Because as you are talking about carbon fibers, we are using polypropylene fibers, steel fibers, lot of in industrial floorings, in tunnels, short plating, uniting application. And I'm not aware of your this product geothermal. Maybe I think it's again for weatherproofing or something else, sir. How would you like to open for this thing, sir?
Right. Well, first of all, if there's an interest in that, and the companies that are involved in manufacturing advanced composite materials, we'd have to make a very specific connection with you if you're interested in that and see what's possible. Geothermal is a fancy term for heat pump. Heat pump, you might be more familiar with what that is. That can either be an underground installation or it can be an above ground installation, depending on how cold or how hot it gets here. But it's a long established and proven technology, easily exportable, easily manufactured, quite frankly, in your own jurisdiction. So there's lots of possibilities there. We have some very good companies that do that, both in terms of manufacturing and in terms of installations and how to apply that technology to your building designs here.
And how about these carbon fibers? Again, this is meant for building sectors or something else, sir?
Carbon fibers are mostly being used for things like bicycles and vehicles and aerospace, airplanes, anything that requires light, strong, and durable. Not so much in buildings yet because the lightness isn't as necessary for a building product. It's still very expensive to use carbon fiber. But there are many other advanced composite materials we can use. I've talked to you about the use of what some people consider the waste from wheat or flax or some of the grains that we grow. Some of the waste products from that can be put into advanced composite materials. I was just in one part of our province recently where we have a major OSB or oriented strand board manufacturing facility. They do 100 cords of wood a day into panels that are exported around the world. And those panels are replacing plywood at a very dramatic rate as a key building component. Now I know you use a lot of cement here. And I also know that you're looking for building technologies which can withstand potential earthquakes. And wood is a very good building product because it absorbs energy, it absorbs shocks. It can be a very durable product to withstand shocks of things like earthquakes. So oriented strand board manufacturing is something that is done in Manitoba by a company with a very advanced technology, and if there's an interest in that, we can help you make the connection to that company.
And that would depend. And there is another thing. Actually, last year I visited Las Vegas. There is a very big exhibition happened over there, World of Concrete. And I have seen some Canadian companies. They are showing their construction chemicals and another chemicals for flooring application, like dust proofing. Work is one of that company. But they were not till date. They were not doing any marketing in India. There are some American companies like Meadows and all, they are doing some marketing. So how we can connect these people? Is it possible from our side to go there or have some sort of joint venture? So would you please tell me how we can associate with, or you can help me out on this particular part, sir?
Yes, we'll hook you up with our trade person, Bonnie, who gave the first presentation right after this, and see what connections are possible for you in that area. We have obviously big international cement companies in Manitoba and also some smaller ones, but exactly what you're saying, how we use cement, how we keep dust down.
Yes.
Some of these advanced technologies are very important for the quality of the product. And we use a lot of cement like you do. And we recycle some of that now as well to use it as efficiently as possible.
Actually, due to the open up of FDIs, all these Walmarts and all these big giants are coming in into here. They need big warehousings, and for warehousing, dust proofing is required for that, sir. Even for industrial sectors also.
Right.
So that is, and that particular chemicals are manufactured over there only. I think I have said in net also, it's not available in China and other places also. Yeah. So when we are importing, that's going to be very costly, and our industry is not paying that much of money. So if we will develop that in some sort of joint venture,
yeah,
that's going to be a big opportunity for us, sir.
We have chemical manufacturers in Manitoba. When you talk to our trade representative, we'll see what the specific match is to meet some of your needs, to see what's possible in that regard.
Oh, thank you.
About comments and other things. Thank you for your question. We do have a website with that information on it. We also have a personal email, excellenceeducation.ca, and that information is available on a personal basis. So if agents or parents would like to contact us, we can provide personal connections for you. We also have links to all our educational institutions, and they're the ones who can do the best matching for your students. And we do bring institutional representatives for student recruitment to India. Last April we were here in Punjab, in Ludhiana, and in Chandigarh. And we were holding education fairs at some high schools. So, we do try to cover all the bases as much as possible. And we would certainly welcome any specific questions you have at our email.
Set up by Government of India and my point is, like, the emphasis has been on joint collaboration in the industry side. We can also collaborate in the research and development area, especially in food processing. Like at Upper Institute, we are working on biomass utilization, like utilization of all the residues for the manufacture of alcohol, sugars, and then alcohols and various other valuable compounds. So maybe we can join hands and work to the benefit of both Manitoba as well as Punjab. Because we are facing the similar problem in Punjab.
I think that's very possible when there's global networks that work on it together. So none of us lose by doing that. So thank you for that suggestion.
Skilled immigration part. I think Manitoba is part of Canada. So I have many relatives or friends who had applied in the past. They say they keep on waiting for 7-8 years and there is no feedback, no movement. So in that case, my question comes, suppose somebody applies to your link, downloads, makes effort in uploading his credentials and everything. What is the broad timeline in which you are likely to revert, or it will be a wait of 8 years or 7 years as others are experiencing?
That's a very good question. I'm going to ask Ben.
Talking with a 7 to 8 year processing time, you're talking about some of the challenges that the federal government face with its backlog and its skilled worker program. and definitely that has been a challenge that has been faced at the federal government. We haven't had that problem in the province. Sometimes our processing times have gotten a little bit over a year, but we've worked very hard to keep processing times to around the 6-month time level, particularly since we introduced last year our MP&P online system, the electronic application process. They get processed first because there's very little physical inventory work to do with those applications. They come in electronically, they can be assessed electronically very quickly. We can share documents that require verification with third-party academic recognition institutions or agencies very quickly. So while we aim for all applications for around a 6-month processing time, again, it depends on the quality of the documents and how much checking we have to do. But with the online electronic applications, we can do them even faster.